Have you seen Star Wars?
It's now been 10 years since The Force Unleashed 2 released. I think that 10-year anniversary was either yesterday or the day before, and man, it makes me feel like an old-timer. I remember seeing the trailer for this game for the Xbox 360. I remember playing the game. I think I was in middle school. Maybe it was before I was even in middle school. Yeah, I'm 20. I was 11. I was 11 years old when this game came out. Either 11 or 12, and man, I was loving life, you know? It was a good time to be a Star Wars fan. There was a lot to look forward to. And unfortunately for a lot of us, The Force Unleashed 2, though graphically beautiful, the gameplay was great, it was a little short, story wasn't perfect, and some people left a little bit disappointed. But there was always that hope for the third Force Unleashed game. And that's because of the cliffhanger ending that happened with The Force Unleashed 2. If we're going off the canon route, which I assume is the light side choice that you had at the end of the game, where you don't strike Vader down, you capture him, you're now being hunted down by Boba Fett, but you also have Vader kind of in your ship, and from all the reports that we had gotten about The Force Unleashed 3, is that kind of left opportunities for a lot of disastrous routes of Vader destroying the ship, kind of pulling a Darth Maul from Season 7 of the Clone Wars routine, is what I would imagine. But now we have a rumor coming from Daniel Richman, who, let's be honest here, he's a credible source, and we've talked about him on the channel before. He has two rumors, or two scoops that he's put out in the past month or so. One would be that there is a Mace Windu series in the works over there at Disney Plus, and the other one is that there is a Darth Bane project over there in the works for Lucasfilm coming to Disney Plus, and maybe even in other projects for Star Wars. Well, now Daniel is saying that there is a Force Unleashed 3 in early development in the Star Wars universe, and I think that's great. And if it does come to fruition, I will be very happy about this. Now, it's a little different from something like a Lucasfilm project. This is something that EA and Lucasfilm would probably be collaborating on, and I think if we look at recent history to suggest, I think this would not be the worst idea in the world, mainly because you look at Jedi Fallen Order, it did over, 10 to 13 million copies in a very short time, and so it was a very big success for EA, and they did not expect it to do so well. And I think that shows to companies like EA that we're not only invested in multiplayer games. A lot of us Star Wars fans like those single-player action story role-playing games that a lot of us have been yearning for in the Star Wars universe, and we haven't gotten in a very long time. Also, The Force Unleashed 1 and 2 were very well-loved games. I mean, like I said at the beginning, The Force Unleashed 2 was a little bit more disappointing than the first one, but still, there's a lot of hope for the third one, and everything that we knew about the third one was that it was a little bit more open world, that Starkiller, this is kind of the ending to his story, really, and what really intrigues me the most is that this is a expanded universe story. This is Legends now. How are they going to turn this into a video game? Is it going to be canon, or is it going to be a reboot of the series? I would certainly hope not. I would really like them to continue the story of The Force Unleashed 1 and 2, just because a lot of us Star Wars fans, we have these stories that are constantly being told and built on in the Star Wars universe that are eventually abandoned or just not coming to fruition because of production issues, behind the scenes stuff. Force Unleashed 3 never happened because LucasArts was going through a troubled time, and then eventually they were shut down by Disney. Then you look at something like Battlefront 3. That was supposed to be a really big game, and then what happened? LucasArts couldn't come through with it because the company who was making it just didn't get the production schedule right. You even look at other games. What was it? You had the Republic Commando. You had the first game, but we never got to see what happened in the second game. A lot of these games had these kind of cliffhanger moments and the real possibility of a better game in the future if we just followed up with things. And even with Star Wars Underworlds, that was a live-action Star Wars show. It was going to be the first of its kind before The Mandalorian. They couldn't do it because, I mean, well, to be honest, if we look at it, it just wasn't that great, but also, that's because it was in 2010. The budget for live-action shows like that was not like it is today. And so this could be an opportunity for us to finally finish the story of Starkiller, even if they do it where they come out and say this is a continuation of The Force Unleashed 2 and 1, but it is not canon. This is part of the expanded universe. I actually like that, because then that opens up the possibility of kind of an alternate universe for the Star Wars canon. You know, we have our Star Wars canon, what happens in the movies and what happens in the Disney books and all that stuff, and just the actual canon that adheres to the film universe, which is something George Lucas always wanted. And then you have this alternate universe where it's kind of like free reign for Star Wars fans, where, yeah, there's a lot of different possibilities, there's a lot of different things that we can do. There's people like Starkiller, who is extremely overpowered, but then again, it's a video game. Like, you want your video game to be fun, but not bound by the film universe in terms of you have to spend 20-odd years training just to learn how to deflect a blaster bolt with your lightsaber. I really loved The Force Unleashed 1. I don't think the gameplay for me personally has aged that well. I go back and play it, and I'm kind of like, it's a little clunky, McClunky, whatever you want to call it. Force Unleashed 2, though, I think it still holds up to this day. I think it's just a little shorter, but the graphics for it looked really good at the time, and they still hold up really well today, and the gameplay for it is really fun. I love the dismemberment of certain characters. I love the Force abilities that we have. I think if EA truly wanted to satisfy the Star Wars fandom and kind of get their name recognition back up there, this would be a way to do it, because they did really well with Jedi Fallen Order, even though that was Respawn's baby, and EA Motive made Star Wars Squadrons, but that kind of didn't do much for EA's name. I just think that was kind of a drop in the bucket, and no one really noticed EA Squadrons right now, but maybe things will change over time. But Jedi Fallen Order 2 comes out in 2022. I don't see another Star Wars game coming out before then. I think we're going to have a little bit of a break with Star Wars games for the next 2 years until December or November of 2022. But then the EA contract with Disney, the license agreement, that expires in 2023. I could see EA possibly having a game like this release in 2023, Force Unleashed 3, which would be, a 3 and a 3, kind of ironic date, nothing special, but I could see them pulling that out and showing Disney, hey, we're bringing something back that the fans love, so either extend our contract so we can actually get this game to come out. Because could you imagine if EA said, yeah, we're making Force Unleashed 3, it's coming out in 2024 or 2025, and in 2023 Disney goes, yeah, that's cool and all, but we don't want to do the deal with you anymore, we're going to take it to someone else, we're going to take it to Rockstar or something like that, or Bethesda. I'm happy with those options, but I would be very disappointed in not getting the Force Unleashed 3 again, So maybe EA uses this as kind of a negotiating tactic where they're saying, hey, we actually have a third game for the Force Unleashed 3, and I think a lot of fans would like it. It would do great in sales, so why don't you keep the contract with us on for a little longer? Or maybe they put it out in 2023 and then say, look how good the sales number for this game is doing, and that's why you should keep us around for more Star Wars game. Could be a very, very good negotiating tactic, and could be a very good way to get the Star Wars fandom to look more favorably on EA. But tell me your thoughts below. What do you guys think of a potential Star Wars The Force Unleashed 3 coming out in the near future? I would love it. I think it would satisfy a lot of us gamers and a lot of us Star Wars fans who want that story to conclude. Tell me your thoughts below. I'm Star Wars Only. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, because it does help out the channel. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.